All right, let's talk about Renfield. Renfield stars Nicholas Hoult as Renfield. He is the lead character of the story. He's the assistant to Count Dracula, played by Nicolas Cage. Awkwafina is in the film as a cop with a moral character who she just wants to get the bad guys, drug dealers, violent drug dealers who have taken over her district, and her police precinct is incredibly corrupt. Everyone is bought off. Awkwafina seems to be the only good cop in her precinct. And when she encounters Renfield, who has just taken out a bunch of horrible drug dealers by violently dispensing with them, they end up teaming up, not necessarily wanting to, but teaming up to take out this band of drug dealers with Count Dracula waiting in the wings. Renfield is ultra violent, super fun. It's just over 90 minutes. It's Nicolas Cage on fire, unhinged. Without giving anything away, I will talk about the story in the first half of the movie. You meet Renfield and Dracula with a nod to the old school Bela Lugosi black and white Dracula movies. It's fantastic. Nicolas Cage is on fire in this role. He is he's gone full Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage also, I would argue, is a genre of film. You could just watch Nicolas Cage movies for weeks. It is a genre. He is captivating. He is having fun in this role. The weird teeth, where he's got these sort of bizarre pointy teeth, and the violence is ultra violent, over the top comic book. People's arms being ripped off, heads being smashed, heads chopped off, limbs being ripped. The blood pours out like a geyser from a garden hose. Like it's like Tokyo Gore Police. If you've ever seen Tokyo Gore Police, that's just over the top violence where it's comical at times. It's super fun. Is this the greatest movie of the year? No. Did I have a great time watching it? Yes. The audience that I was with applauded at the end. They were laughing throughout. It's ridiculous. Nicholas Holt's character goes kind of on this journey where there's this whole thread, which I think is very well done, about mental illness and coping and dealing with codependency, a toxic codependent relationship. How do you break out of this codependent relationship? So Renfield joins a support group of people, basically, to get themselves through their codependency. How do they deal with this toxic relationship they're in? And Renfield's in a toxic relationship. And he's just trying to get away from Count Dracula, who, I mean, his powers are crazy. So he can float, he can transform into bats, and then like these bats sort of reform into his human form. He can kill you in an instant. It's so fun. It feels influenced also by like a comic book graphic novel. So at the end of the day, Renfield is not a great movie, but a super fun movie. I had a blast watching it with a packed crowd. I strongly recommend it. You will have fun at the movies, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Alan, what did you think of Renfield?
Didn't like it as much as you. My feeling about the movie is there's a lot of things that are really good in this movie, and there are a lot of things that are really bad in this movie. And ultimately, it becomes this battle between, can the good overcome the bad? And for me, it kind of barely does. Some of the bad is, the support group thing. I like the idea, the execution. I think the trailer makes it look worse than it is, but I'm still, it just feels too comic-y. Also, support groups. I'm not sure that support groups are run like that from my experience.
Right.
Where kind of, I don't know if he was the author of the book that was being used there, but That's not how support groups work. But okay, minor quibble. But it's just played a little too light and a little too on the nose in terms of the way it plays out in the end. The other thing is Awkwafina is horribly miscast in this movie. She plays a cop. She plays a cop. The problem is when you see her on screen, she does not have the weight and gravitas of a cop. The way she walks, the way she looks in her body armor, looks, you look at her and it's like, this is an actress playing in a cop costume, and we're supposed to believe that, you just can't say she's a cop and then we'll believe she's a cop. You've got to look like it. You got to walk like it. So she's just, I personally, I like Awkwafina. The whole hip hop thing controversy she's gone through, I feel was unwarranted, but she is objectively bad in this movie and miscast. Should have done at least a little bit of research, gone to a police academy, learned how to be a cop, how to walk like a cop, how to walk into a room with a gun, how to search a room. These things, she just it's lazy. It's lazy research because she didn't do any research for this.
First of all, it's rare that you see happening live on the show. I never thought I'd see it. Asian on Asian violence. This is Alan. Your words are violence.
Well, no, but if I didn't say anything, then silence is violence.
Well, so, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. That the weakest part of the movie is Awkwafina. Another woman in that role would have knocked it out of the park. If you can get over her, I feel like she's also.
Michelle Yeoh could have done it if you wanted.
Here's the problem. Is that she is sort of the co-lead with Renfield. If Awkwafina's character was a side character for comic relief, fine. The problem is she's sort of teamed up with Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult is very good.
Yeah.
He's very good in the role. But Awkwafina, I can't disagree with you, Alan. She is the weakest part of. That's why this movie is not like I'm sitting here telling you this is not the greatest movie ever. I would probably put it at a fun between a 6 and a 7. Okay, that's where I'd put this movie in terms of rating.
Look, Nick Cage embraced Dracula. He understood the character. He probably, he's probably been a fan for a long time. He probably understands how he would play Dracula, and he went for it. You can't say that for Awkwafina. She took the role and did zero research for it, and just decided, hey, if I act tough, people will understand I'm a cop. And
the thing is this, who plays Awkwafina in the movie? You know what Awkwafina plays in the movie? Awkwafina.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Awkwafina in the movie. Awkwafina is not a character in the movie. I mean, the same thing with Shang-Chi, I feel like she was fine in small doses. In Crazy Rich Asians, I actually liked her character because she was the comic relief, and she's not the lead, and she goes away for a long time, and then she comes back. Oh, I like her. She's kind of funny. She's crazy character. And then she goes away. But when she is a featured character in a film, she's just playing herself. I feel like Awkwafina is very good at playing Awkwafina and not much else. And she is the weakest part of the movie. But if you can set that aside, part of the thing is, I'll like a movie better if I have a couple of drinks before, and it depends on the type of movie I'm about to see, right? But it's just like, I'm going to see Renfield, I'm not going to see an Oscar movie, right? So yeah, I mean, C.D. Stein 69. Yeah. Let's be honest, she only plays herself in movies.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think Tom Cruise plays himself in movies. When you're an actor, you're great when you're comfortable with the role you're in. She was great in The Farewell because she was comfortable with that role. She worked in Shang-Chi because she was comfortable in that role. She is not comfortable in this role. And it just the body language says it all in this film.
Yeah. Well, the chat is on fire right here. Shucksy, I prefer Poland Spring to Awkwafina. There you go. We'll get to your chat comments and questions. I want to wrap up our thoughts here on Renfield. Alan, I think you're giving it a mild recommendation.
A mild recommendation. The best thing about it is Nick Cage as Dracula. The over-the-top comic book violence is amazing. And Nicholas Hoult does a really good job kind of being the glue that holds the zaniness and the seriousness together. And he does not break character at all in this entire movie. And that's just a testament to how good he is in this movie.
Well, because he's not making like little dumb side jokes. That's Awkwafina's job. And she makes way too many side jokes as a cop. Yeah. Like it just doesn't make sense. You know, maybe her character shouldn't have been a cop. You could have told that story without her being a cop, right? Like she could have been something else. And I think it's also like a lot of things with this. Awkwafina is, I think, a very good side character, comic relief in a movie. She works in that sense. But when it comes to like being someone who can carry a film, I don't think she can do it. Not even as like a secondary lead. So,
well, I mean, to me, that's all about casting, finding the right role for her. I think she could do it. The Farewell, she did it. But that was
a
all
different
about
movie. It's a different. That's a totally different movie. That's a
but you're saying, can she carry a movie? The answer is, if you give her the right role, she can.
Well, look, I sort of give it a little better recommendation, a 6.5, just because Nicolas Cage is so good. Nicholas Hoult he plays it totally deadpan straight, and it's great.